I'm Effie Parks. Welcome to Once Upon a Gene, the podcast. This is a place I created for us to connect and share the stories of our not-so-typical lives. Raising kids who are born with rare genetic syndromes and other types of disabilities can feel pretty isolating. What I know for sure is that when we can hear the triumphs and challenges from others who get it, we can find a lot more laughter, a lot more hope, and feel a lot less alone. I believe there are some magical healing powers that can happen for all of us through sharing our stories, and I'll take all the help I can get.
Once Upon a Gene is proud to be part of Bloodstream Media. Living in a family affected by rare and chronic illness can be isolating, and sometimes the best medicine is connecting to the voices of people who share your experience. This is why Bloodstream Media produces podcasts, blogs, and other forms of content for patients, families, and clinicians impacted by rare and chronic diseases. Visit bloodstreammedia.com to learn more.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast. This is Once Upon a Gene, and I'm your host, Effie Parks. I'm so grateful that you're here today. If you're new, welcome. There's just a beautiful library full of so many topics on this podcast. You can type in the search bar or you can message me and ask if there's a topic that you want to hear about. I hope that this show fulfills all of your wildest dreams. I hope it fills up your heart. I hope that it makes you feel connected to something and less alone. And I also hope that it inspires you to make change in your own life and in the world. If you haven't yet, I would also really appreciate a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts if you have a minute. People seeing reviews and being able to read through shows really helps them decide whether or not they want to listen to this one over another one. So hook a sister up, and I'd really appreciate it. I'm just coming off of quite a long week and a half of being out of town at a conference and then taking my kids out for a little festival. And I came home and I literally cannot move my neck and my shoulders and my back. And I'm like in the wildest pain ever. And I'm staring at everything that I was supposed to get done today. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking about self-care and the barriers that are there in between it and the barriers we put up ourselves. And yeah, it just got me thinking about it all. And I know you probably are already rolling your eyes when I say self-care. And today I want to challenge you a little bit. And I want to remind you what self-care is. When I say self-care, I am not talking about unrealistic things like spa days and getaways with your friends and all of this flashy stuff. Because if you've listened to any of this show about self-care, it's not that at all. It's the boring, it's the mundane, it's the habits, it's those things we do to sustain ourselves as well as possible. And I'll go through a couple of them that I think are pretty mandatory at the end of this show. So if you're hearing self-care and you're rolling your eyes and you're saying, nope, not for me, I can't, just take a deep breath. Keep listening. I'm not going to give you any chores, and none of this is going to be realistic, and none of this is going to cost money. And I get it. But I want to just like noodle this around and maybe flip the script a little bit, because we know it's not a luxury. It's more about survival for us. More importantly, it is really truly about making small, meaningful changes or addition that really keep you going and that make your life just a little easier, a little better, a little healthier. So let's talk about maybe why you're not giving yourself permission to do it and how we can shift that. Because I know a lot of us just really don't give ourselves permission and we feel guilt and whatever it is. I feel like we can be disconnected from self-care entirely because of validation culture. I'll explain that a little bit. I think on social media, there are posts and conversations that constantly remind us of how hard caregiving is, how exhausting it is, how isolating it is. And listen, that's all true. Super, super true. Caregiving is ridiculously hard. And we absolutely need the space to acknowledge that 100%. But I think here's where things can go sideways. When all you're getting is validation for how hard your life is and how hard this situation is, I really believe that it can trap you in that narrative. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately about our brain. And obviously, we hear a lot about neuroplasticity with our kids. I know that they were always saying, don't worry, Ford will catch up. Kids are so plastic. It's sort of like that. And it basically means that your brain creates and forges new pathways based on what you focus on. So if you're constantly reinforcing how hard everything is, you're strengthening those "this is hard" pathways. Okay? Now, does this mean that we all have to pretend that it's all sunshine and rainbows? Duh. No, absolutely not. But it does mean that living in that "this is impossible" space isn't helping you move forward. There's another term for it. It's called learned helplessness, and it is a real thing. And the more that we're told something is hard, the more we are likely to believe that we can't change it. And that's the part, I think, that is the super, super, super dangerous loop, the dangerous path without a flashlight. We start to think that we're powerless. And listen, if all you're seeing online is how burdened you are, how impossible everything feels, eventually that does become the story that you tell yourself. And that story can make self-care pointless. Like, why bother? If I'm always going to be stuck in survival mode, why should I care? How can I? I can't. It's too heavy. But you're not stuck. And you are not powerless. So here's some tough love. And I've used it on myself. I'm not just spouting anything. These are things that I have learned. And it's a constant practice, just like everything is. Constant validation of struggle might feel good in the moment. It might make you want to like and share. And I don't know, maybe it's a dopamine hit for a second. It feels good to be seen. That is real. That is valid. But if that's all you're getting, it's not helping you take care of yourself. In fact, it might even be keeping you from realizing just how capable you actually are. I really, really, truly believe that. My mom used to always have this quote on her fridge, and then I put it on my fridge decades ago, that your attention flows where your energy goes. It is real. So think about who you're following on social media. Think about what you're ingesting. We all love to follow people who get us, people who share the reality of how hard caregiving can be. But if all you're seeing is your feed of people reminding you of how exhausted, burned out, and overwhelmed you are, really ask yourself, is this helping? Because again, if you're constantly reinforcing how hard things are, you're never going to see small opportunities to feel better, to do something for yourself, even if it seems tiny. Tiny's big. Remember, in our world, inch stones are big. You have to start reminding yourself about change. Follow those people who remind you to change. Again, small. People who say, yeah, this is hard, but here's what you can do to feel just a little better. That's where self-care really comes in. It's not about overhauling your life and pretending things aren't tough and buying things and going places and being pretty, whatever it is. It's about believing that you have control over something, even if it's drinking a glass of water or walking around your living room. So again, if your feed's full of reinforcing how stuck you are, how sad you are, how burdensome this life is, maybe it's time to unfollow. Maybe it's time to mute a few accounts while you encourage yourself to take some action. Because when we're stuck in constant validation of the hard stuff, we stop seeing our own power. Let's not forget rumination. Oof, this one's hard. This one's hard for me. When you keep replaying negative encounters or thoughts or experiences just kind of over and over and thinking about how you would have done them differently or what you should have done or blah, 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 those things can really make you have an eye twitch. And if we're always thinking about how burned out we are, same thing. We're going to stay burned out. You're never going to feel motivated to take care of yourself. And you're constantly going to be stuck in that loop. And I'm not saying this is like something you can flip, your mindset overnight. These are teeny tiny, again, small shifts. Every single thing that I'm asking you to think about or do it in the smallest way possible. Really, like the tiniest way possible. One little thing. Just put a little break in that cycle. Could you change just one thing to feel a little better today? And if so, what is it? You deserve to care for yourself, but you don't need a complete life overhaul to do it. So I'm going to go through some real self-care tips that are achievable right now, today. Here are a few of mine. Drinking your big girl water or your big boy water for all my dudes listening. I have this big jug. It's on my Amazon storefront link. It has a big handle. I can just hold on to it with my whole heart. And it has a lid and a straw. And I drink that water. You have to remember to hydrate. Not coffee, not juice, just water. It's so key to functioning. Really, get yourself a water bottle that you love. Put a Once Upon a Jean sticker on it and keep it with you. Keep it with you the whole time. Keep it nearby. It's the simplest form of self-care. And I promise you, staying hydrated will change your life, will change your skin, all of it. 2, move your body. I know this is where you're going to like be perked up and be super annoyed with me that you don't have time to go to the gym or money to go to the gym or someone to babysit while you go to the gym. Do this at home in your living room in front of your kid that you're watching because there's no one there to help you. You don't need the gym or the perfect workout routine. Just move. Sometimes, I swear to you, I literally just walk from one end of my house to the other. Ford goes and plays at the garage and I have to stay there because the driveway is so steep. I literally just walk back and forth until he's done playing. I used to sit on this amazing soft chair I got because I spend hours out there. And then I was like, ding, 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 big red fire truck, Effie. You're missing this whole opportunity of where you could actually get your steps in right now. So that's one of the ways I get my steps in now if I don't get to go out on a walk, like, away from this house. And I get them in and I'm done. And I'd maximize that time where maybe I would just be sitting there doing something dumb, like looking at my phone. I challenge you to look at those moments in your house that you could do something. Really, I would not recommend push-ups because I hate push-ups. But what if you just did sit down and do something on the floor? What if you were stretching? Oh my God, stretching is so good for not just your body, but your brain. You could stretch for 10 minutes. It really helps clear your mind. And every single bit of movement counts. I really do recommend getting something to like count your fitness too. I think there's some affordable watches or, Fitbits that do it. Ask in your local group for a free one if you can. Sometimes your phone even does it. I don't know. I learned this one from Rose Reef. Simplify your wardrobe. I mean, I think we all tried to forgot trying to be cute a while ago, but just get comfortable. What I do now, I honestly live in all Fabletics clothes because I literally am working out all day, meaning that taking care of a child is working out. Bending over and getting him in and out of his wheelchair, in and out of his bed, in and out of his chair, in and out of the minivan, reaching over and locking that thing down. I mean, I have to be in workout clothes or I physically can't take care of Ford now. So I just own it. I get clothes that all just basically look like workout clothes and I can all mix and match them and I don't have to think about it. You could just wear all black so you don't have to think. So when you go get changed, it isn't one more thing. You can literally put on anything, top and bottom, and they're gonna match. That's self-care. Simplify those things that could be really annoying. And maybe it'll even make you throw some stuff out and you'll have a little more space in your room. That is definitely something I should also do. If you also can't leave, could you stand outside? Take off your shoes, take off your socks, stand in the grass. I know that sounds woo-woo, but I was raised by a woo-woo. She even made us hug trees. It works. Stand in the grass. Close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. Think about a mantra. Think about something that helps you. Maybe it is like all is well. Maybe all isn't well, but think about the mantra that makes your nervous system calm down. Feel your feet in the grass. It feels so good, I promise. Give yourself just a couple minutes for the fresh air and the breath. When is the last time you went outside, literally outside your home? Think about it. That makes me actually go back to the water thing again. When is the last time you went pee? For real. When is the last time? Because you should be going often throughout the day. And if you're not drinking your water. We have to move this through. These are all things we can do. These are all little habits that we can make happen. And they're going to help our bodies and our minds. I promise. And then the other one is pat yourself on the back. Seriously, celebrate yourself. Take a little credit. Parents have inch stones too. Maybe you did drink all of your water that day. Good job. Maybe you brushed your teeth before noon and flossed. Good job. Brushing your teeth is self-care. Brushing your teeth is self-care. Don't forget. Going to the dentist is self-care. Make it happen. These are wins. This is like the other episode that I was talking about milestones and like getting excited for things. It doesn't have to be big things to feel like you're accomplished. Little things make you feel so accomplished. I promise. Celebrate them just like you celebrate your kids. Because when you start paying attention to you, you realize how much you're actually getting done. And it's awesome. And then I really believe that it gives you the energy to do it again and again and again. And then it's a habit. And then it's fun. And then you can do more. It really builds off of itself and it really helps sustain you. So the bottom line, self-care isn't about luxury. It's about seeing yourself as someone who's worthy of a moment of peace, a moment of care. If you're constantly validating the hard stuff, you're never going to see these small changes that you can make to feel better. And you can feel better. It's honestly just like one small step a day and then another one tomorrow. You are not stuck. You are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. I swear to you. And you deserve to take care of yourself, even if it's just for a minute. So go do it. Drink the water, take the walk, stand outside. You got this. I hope you've been enjoying this podcast. If you like what you hear, please share this show with your people, and please make sure to rate and review it on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also head over to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to connect with me and stay updated on the show. If you're interested in sharing your story, or if you have anything you would like to contribute, please submit it to my website at effieparks.com. Thank you so much for listening to the show and for supporting me along the way. I appreciate y'all so much. I don't know what kind of day you're having, but if you need a little pick-me-up, Ford's got you.